Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline. So we've got what is almost a standard at this point. We're talking about some sort of weight loss type thing. Talking about being alone, what that looks like, being on your own. There's plenty of entertainment stuff if that's more your thing. There's a lot of TV. I watched an entire series in the last week. There's some VR stuff. There's some flat games. That kind of it. But there's a lot of it. So if entertainment's your thing, I've got you covered. I've got you back. Don't worry. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And the big one, share that podcast around. If you enjoy the podcast and you're like, hey, maybe so-and-so might like it, just send it their way. Find out. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline. Hello! Going for the upbeat start. What do you think? Any good? Oh, I've lost. Why is it? Oh, it's there. Okay. I was going to do the welcome to the podcast after dark because I hadn't turned the lights on. But I was like, let's face it, just going to have to get up in a minute. So I turned the lights on and it's now not really all that dark anymore. In fact, it's too light. Follow me for more first world problems. How you doing? You well? You good? Good. See, it's nice. I have to presume that you said, yes, I'm great, thank you. How are you? If that is not your current life experience, hit me up. Bit of a weird one this week because, as I've talked about many times before, sometimes you write a list for a podcast and then a week later you go, that was a week ago. It's old news now, baby. I got up the list this evening and I went, oh, that's what we're talking about. So there's a possibility I'll gloss over a few things. There's a possibility I'll get way too far into the weeds on other things. What? People want money? People want money from me. That's unusual. It's not like every minute of every day. Right, I'm coming in. Wait. I'm rolling. You wire bastard. Okay, I'll try again. Now I'm crashing into them. Yep. All things you would think I would do before starting, but no. And there's a very simple reason. When I start facing forwards. But I like to get comfy. I like to talk to you in a comfy manner. I managed to get to my weight goal, finally. Feels like it's been a long road. I may have changed the weight goal. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, so you hit a weight goal and moved the goalpost. No, not true. What I did was, on my way to said weight goal, I double-checked the numbers and the numbers were wrong. What I mean by that is I have been recently going by height, weight. You know, what should a person of my height be weight-wise? And they give you a range and they go, the lower end of the range, you would be considered underweight. The middle, you would be considered fine. And the higher end, you would be heading towards overweight. I am also using a loophole. I'm using if the first number is the number that's fine. Obviously, that gives you basically £14 of leeway in my world. But I consider it an achievement. As far as achievements go, if you ever heard the phrase along the lines of half the money used to be, it's half the money used to be. If you squint your eyes and look from a distance, from where I started, which will be over 10 years ago, so it's not exactly been the shortest of journeys, I am coming up to being half the man I used to be. So there's that. Again, like I say, £14 is a hell of a wiggle room. So let's leave it at that. Something that I was having a conversation the other day, and I was like, as a fast wears on towards the very back end, you start planning your meals. And obviously you got 9 days as a total. 7 of them are fasting. 2 of them are eating. Over 7 days of fasting, as I'm sure you can imagine, you get a bit of a hankering. Now, something that I've been trying recently is I've been trying to broaden my horizons. I've been trying to cook more, experiment, etc., etc., etc. And although I do a lot of cooking these days, I don't do a lot of eating. I cook meals for people in the house. Some of those meals are appreciated. So, ultimately, I like to plan 2 meals a week. What are you going to eat this week? Well, I'm fancying, it's almost always going to be something in the Asian persuasion, shall we say. Maybe we shouldn't say. I don't know. So I've been eating a lot of bibimbap, a lot of... I had a Thai curry at one point. I had a noodle dish at one point. I had ramen at one point. I did a search for an equivalent to bibimbap so that I didn't burn myself out on what is very quickly becoming one of my favourite meals. And found... Now, the problem that I've got is I don't know how to pronounce it. So, to save myself the embarrassment, I won't attempt it. But what I can tell you is this. It's almost identical to bibimbap, but it's instead of rice, it's noodles. And although it uses almost an identical marinade, there is no sauce involved. However, I really like the sauce, so some of the sauce may have made its way onto my dish. As for my other meals, sometimes I like to go classic. Back in the day, there was once upon a time a thing called a cheat meal. So every now and then, depending on days and times and things, sometimes I'm just like, well, let's go simple, easy, effective. Let's go with an old school cheat meal. And that's kind of that. The problem you've got is 2 days versus 7 days. Your mind just goes crazy. Oh, what about this? Or what about that? Oh, there's this. Oh, I wanted to try that. So you end up realizing that there's not enough time for things. I have recently had a couple of realizations. Ironically, typically, I saw something today. Someone who I follow, who has also been on like quite a big weight loss journey, was posting some stuff on social media about how weight loss and fad diets and this, that, and the other, how certain things don't work, and it's all about mentality, it's all about this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah, I keep saying like I'm probably brushing up against what has been dubbed phase 3. I have not committed yet. However, I've reached that point where I think I may need to dip my toe in the water, and I think that is going to be sooner rather than later. When you eat what is essentially a large amount of food, and equivalent to no food, whichever way you slice it, it's a massive shock to the system. In a lot of different ways. High calories can make you very sleepy. High sugar can make you very sleepy. High fats or whatever, it for want of a better way, most of the effects usually end up being quite negative. So I think it's sort of come to a point where it's a little bit like I might have to try and reduce those negative effects, and that has to be done through different meals, I think, and those meals are the meals that were on my meal plan that I've been putting together for the last few months for phase 3. So, whereas I may or may not be quite ready for phase 3, I feel like phase 3 is coming for me. And I don't know how I feel about that. There's a big part of me that feels like I'm kind of glad. I do wonder what it's going to look like. Ultimately, phase 3 is a lot of high protein, low carb, mid-range sort of healthy fat type stuff with basically the same amount of exercise. So, no great shocks or surprises there. Yeah, maybe it's coming for me, like I say. Like I was saying, this week's a bit of a weird one because I've got so much entertainment stuff to talk about, and less of the other stuff. What I will say is this: something that's been sort of an interesting test over the last few days is Leanna's not here. Leanna's away. There's been this kind of I've dropped a lid now. Like a 3-week point of time where things were going to get real difficult, real tough. For me, for our house, for a variety of other things, because Leanne was going to be out of action for X number of weeks, and then wasn't going to be here, which she isn't at this point in time. Excuse me, I've got 4 drinks on the go at the moment. That's not even a joke. I've got 4 drinks. Pretty sure there's a hot one in there somewhere, so I should probably drink that at some point. Leanna's not here. She's away at a family function. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's like I was going to say the illusion, but it's not an illusion. There's this like... Leanne has it in her head that I can't cope. I have it in my head that I can't cope. I think even the children have it in their head that I can't cope. But it's an illusion. It's all an illusion, because Leanne knows I can cope. I'm an old hand at this. I've been doing this for years. I know I can cope because I'm an old hand. I've been doing this for years. And the children know I can cope because, Leanne's often not here. It's just that it's a prolonged amount of time. So there's like, there's lists and tick boxes and jobs, and don't forget that this person needs to be in this place at this point in time, and they're going to do this, and it's all fine because. And I'm like, okay, and my brain does this like self protection. I don't know what you would call it. You would probably call it that, self sort of protection, where I just don't take in any information. Oh, this thing needs to happen at this point in time, and I'm like, cool, put it on the list. Oh, but I need you to know, this thing needs to happen at this point in time. I'm like, yeah, as long as it's on the list, it'll get done. Don't worry. And then it's like, okay, well, this animal needs this, and this child needs this, and this thing, this job needs to happen in the house, and this, and I'm like, it's okay as long as it's written on the list, it'll get done. And then Leanne walks out the door, and my brain goes, I was making a list, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know you got it. It's like, cool. So then I switch over into some sort of like survival mode, and I just do all the things that need to be done in a timely manner. Everything gets done, touch wood, and we just sort of like, not necessarily muddle our way through, but we just get it done. We get through the days, we get it done. But that's not necessarily the problem. I often like to time how long it takes before I start talking to myself. Usually, it's a very short space. It's a very short space of time, like minutes. I have always done it. I've always thought to myself, I am that person that does the belief that, at least you get the answer you want, at least you're talking to somebody that knows what's going on, and I know a multitude of other things that I could say about the reason I talk to myself. And that sort of transfers to other aspects of my life. There are a number of occasions when I've just been venting garbage in the direction of Leanne, knowing full well that she isn't listening to a single thing I'm saying. And then there's a point where I go, and I'm done. And we just both go our separate ways and get on with our lives. And it's kind of the end of it. So I don't think... I was going to say I don't think I lasted an hour on the first day, but I kind of cheated the beginning because me and my son were out and about. We were doing a tour of the parks near where we were, and we went to one park. We had a good time. I always find it interesting because we walked out the park and the first thing he said was that was a good time going to the park, Daddy. And I was like, are you telling me that for future reference? Like, you want me to know that going to the park is good, or are you just telling me that you had a good time and you enjoyed it, or what is the reason that the first thing you say is like, that was a good time at the park? And then we went to another park, gave that one a go, sort of thing. It was to do with having to move the car, so we did that. So I was with him, and we were doing like these like different jobs and things for a little while, and then we got home. And once we were home, now then I was going to say once we got home, we went off to bed, but that's not what happened. Oh, I think my timings are off. Anyway, the shortest version is, once he went to bed, I was talking to myself immediately. Caught myself doing it, laughed about it, carried on. Something that I found a bit interesting over these recent sort of times is fear. The fear. Like, I like to play VR. That's no surprise. But when you play VR and there's another adult in the house, it's that, like, you feel like that aspect of safety. Like, if something goes wrong, if somebody needs something, if a child needs something, if an animal needs something, if somebody needs something, the other adult is there, and they can be like, oh, well, you are in, in playing VR, and I can do this. I take care of this. When there isn't another adult here, you're a bit like, oh, I don't know if I should do. What if I can't hear? And I played a little bit of VR last night and was literally like, nope, can't do this, can't hear, don't know what's happening, don't know if I'm needed, and I had to sort of bail on it. It's been an interesting time because I found myself wanting to, like, bring everyone in closer. Like, my youngest daughter had basically had a day out today. And my son was out of the house and I was working and stuff. And my day was basically just me going like, oh, I really miss them, and I want them to, I feel like they should be with me, and we should be together as a unit doing something together. And, obviously we can't because one child's in one place, one child's in another place. I'm not there and all this. But I found this weird kind of, I felt like I wanted them with me. I don't know if that's some sort of like strange protection thing. Being, when it gets like late and it gets dark and you're in the house and you're not alone because other people are in the house, but you're the only person awake. So then you're like, what if the axe murderer comes through the window now? What if the axe murderer comes through the door now? It's just me to protect everyone, and it's a weird kind of. You instantly switch to like this protection mode, this like I've got to protect everyone and everything. But I realised, like last night, I was like, but that's not the case. The rest of the time, like when Leanne's here, I'm still like, if an axe murderer comes through the window or comes through the door, I still have to protect everyone. But maybe it's that element of, like, the axe murderer comes in and I get, there's a tussle and I get taken down by the axe murderer, but I also manage to take the axe murderer out in the process. So I'm gone, but the axe murderer is also gone. At least there's a adult, a parent, or whatever, here to look after everyone. Maybe it's that. I play through so many scenarios. So many scenarios. And and every one of them is somebody, mostly me, ends up dead at the end of it. Or even at the start, ends up dead at the start of the scenario. It's like, I die here and now. There was a point today, I was sat at work, I was like, if I have a heart attack at my desk right now, how does that look for everyone else? Who's going to notify, like, who's going to go and, collect my son? And, it's all of that. But it's constant. All the time. And I have that, like, you get into bed, you settle down and you go, what now? Like, I struggle to sleep on my own as it is, without the, is that an axe murderer coming through the door? Or is it a cat? Speaking of cat, fucking Jesus Christ. Honestly, 2 freaking hours running around the house non-stop last night. 2 hours. I'm sure when you sleep 22 hours a day, you've probably got the energy to run around for 2 hours solid. So, you add to that the dog's like, I mean, they're being friggin' lunatics. So maybe I should get involved and I should be an absolute nightmare on top of things. Does that help? Honestly, the thing that's amused me, whereas I've got like the little person in my head that makes a subconscious note of all the stuff that's supposed to be happening, apparently I'm not the only one. So I'm like, oh, I've got all this stuff in my head, and I'll just tick stuff off the list so that I can show that I've done it and ticked it off, and that way. And I was sat at work today setting multiple reminders for like this 2-hour window because I was like, I need to feed the cats, but then I need to walk the dog, but then I need to, I've got to do this, but then I've got to do that, and like 5-minute intervals, 15-minute intervals. I've got to remember to take this with me when I go there. All of that. It turns out I'm not the only one. My 2 young children, the younger 2, are like, oh, don't forget, we've got to do that thing. I'm like, I haven't forgotten. Why do you know that? Oh, and then don't forget, we've got to do that other thing. Uh-huh. Now, my youngest daughter, I work on the principle that, she's used to having to do things. Oh, you need to get up, you need to go to school. Oh, you've been to school, you need to go and do this activity. Oh, you've done that activity, you need to make sure you've done that. Oh, have you read your library book? Yeah. She's used to having like a series of instructions, a series of things that need to be done in a timely manner. So, not super surprising that she's got a few of the, oh, don't forget we need to do this, don't forget we need to do that, rattling around in her head. But my son, he was telling me everything we had to do yesterday, and I'm like, how do you know this? Because I don't think anybody's told you. So how do you know? I had this image that, like, Leanne was like, oh, remember, tomorrow you and Daddy need to do... I feel like she's been, like, conditioning and programming him to remember all the things that she thinks I'm going to forget. Obviously, this is going to be super hilarious when at some point I go and check the list and I'm like, oh no, I've forgotten to do. Oh no, and it was super important. Like I leave her left at the train station. So that's the week basically. Been one of those. Like I was saying, I looked at my list and I was like, wow, that's bit boring, isn't it? And nothing major has happened. And I understand that me talking about weight loss for the last God knows how many weeks is probably not. I'm trying to grab my drink. It's like I'm playing one of those. Oh no, there I got it. It's like I was doing one of those block puzzles where you have to move the blocks around so you can get something out. I have my hot coffee. There's no longer hot. It's just warm. Ready? Delightful. Yeah, like I say, I imagine me talking about weight for X number of weeks has not been the most exciting. And I imagine on 2 sides. One, there are people like, Jesus fucking Christ, is he still talking about it? And then there is another camp of people who are like, okay, what's the update this week? Honestly, I'd like to tell you I'm moving away from it. And I think this week we'll have busy times this week. But look at it this way. If you're here for the entertainment, strap in. I've got you covered. So, I haven't done this in ages. But I have binge watched an entire series over the last few days. Unfortunately, for a certain group of people, you're going to have very little interest. Devil May Cry, ladies and gents. Devil May Cry. The latest attempt at doing an animated TV series dropped on Netflix a few days ago, and I have watched all of the episodes. Now then, I will say this straight off the bat. The reason I've watched all the episodes is because it was very much maybe I can just fit like 10 or 15 minutes of an episode in now. It's been one of those, like, there have been points in time where I'm like, I wonder if I can just watch like 5 minutes now while I'm just here doing nothing. That, you would think, is a good sign. And it is. It's been an absolute banger of a series. Proper. Just a perler of a series. The animation is fantastic. The point in time that they've set the story, great. The take on Dante, Lady, good. I would probably say this. Little too much Lady, not enough Dante for me. I think the choice was, well, Devil May Cry covers all these different characters. It's not just Dante. And the answer is yes, that is true. There are many different characters in Devil May Cry. But also it is Dante. So, give the people what they want. Set at a really good point in time. That point in time is... I was explaining to somebody today, I was saying, like, it's clearly before certain things have happened in the Devil May Cry story. Like, Dante doesn't have the guns, Ebony and Ivory. The story unfolds that he learns the devil trigger. So, there's that. Sort of that point in time. It's 8 episodes. It's animated. It's fantastic. And what is possibly the not better, but a fantastic part of it is something that I've forgotten, which I was quickly reminded. It's actually Kevin Conroy's final performance. It's the last thing he recorded before he passed away. And it was just such a super pleasant surprise in the first episode when he popped up. Obviously not as Batman, but definitely Kevin Conroying the shit out of it. So, yeah. Honestly, I would say this. Outside of Invincible, it's the thing that's spoken to me the most. It had that feeling of Invincible Series 1, kind of like I just needed to watch it. I needed to have seen it. I needed to have experienced it. It was great. There's been little things here and there, a trailer talking about the music, etc., that has sort of teased what it was going to be like. And honestly, it has not disappointed. It's way up there on the... I would probably say this. I will probably work on the principle of watching it again. Something that I feel was a super bold choice, knowing that Netflix are an absolute swine for cancelling things after the first series. Series 1 or let's say Series 1, shall we? The Devil May Cry animated TV series ends on a massive cliffhanger. Like, huge cliffhanger. A bold choice, in my opinion. Honestly, it would not surprise me if Netflix turn around in the next few days and be like, oh, only 300 million people watch this TV series, so it's not that popular and we've cancelled it. So, yeah, look out for that. Also, look out for a game I've been playing later in the podcast. Took a little pee break. Had to have a full-blown conversation with a cat. This is what I'm dealing with at the moment. This is my life. I say conversation. It was bordering on an argument. Second time I've shut the door. The second time he's opened the door. Anyway, if Devil May Cry is your thing, just to finish that bit up, check it out. For me, big fan. Animation, the animated TV series has not disappointed as far as I'm concerned. I was asked today if I'd seen the previous attempt. And my answer was I own the previous attempt, and this was different. So if it's your sort of thing, check it out. I've watched a few more episodes of Blacklist Season 2. Obviously, you had all these different mysteries, puzzles, and whatever else in the first series. And a fair number of them were resolved in some way, shape, or form. So, to carry on that, Series 2 has all of these other mysteries and questions and whatever. We've had a couple of them kind of answered, but a lot of the others are just these. It's like, oh, there's this character, and we don't know who this character is. Okay, so we don't know who they are. So why are they in it a lot now? And Series 2 is leaving a lot unsaid as well, which is a bit weird. The editing of Series 2 so far has been a bit off. It's just a lot of like it reeks of a Series 2, which I'm sure by now we all know. I am not a Series 2 fan of anything. I think you're hard pushed to find a good Series 2 of a TV series. It's kind of, in some ways, it's settled into the groove. In some ways, that's not a good thing. In other ways, it's trying to keep you guessing and keep it fresh. But, like I say, we're in Series 2, so it's not that you just spend your time going, I don't know who this person is, or I don't know what this story arc is, or I don't know what this part of the mystery is. So you kind of lose an aspect. There has been a storyline running through Series 2. And it's very tense. And it's very like, but at no point have they explained any part of it, like how any of it's happened. It's a complete mystery, which obviously is the mystery side of things. The episode I watched the other night revealed the thing, while simultaneously leaving everything still unanswered. It's that the TV show. It's that. And I'm like, it's good, it's fine, I'm watching it, it's moving along, it's developing, that's great. But like in that kind of hurry up and tell us, but more of like a hurry up and wait, if that makes any sense. It's very much like, I understand what you're doing, but I just want to know. And I think that's a me thing, not a they thing, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, tough going a little bit. Again, falls back into that. 10 series, 218 episodes. So it's got to have something about it. Honestly, I think given the chance, Leanne would stop watching it. There's been a couple of times she's like, oh, there's this TV series, why don't we give it a try? And I'm like, what, as well as the TV series we're already watching? It's like, oh, we could just give it a try and see what it's like. And I'm like, right, okay. Speaking of TV series I've been watching, I am so far through Tulsa King Series 2. I think I'm like 6 of 10 episodes, I think. These are the things I should write down and don't. I think the last time we spoke about it, I was complaining that they had such a wild number of bad guys, villains, possibilities. I think I'd actually forgotten one at the time, because there's like a triad element that's been lurking in the background, but has been coming a bit more to the forefront recently. You've got, at this point in time, I think you've got 4 villains. Potential villains, actual villains. There are 4 possible bad guys. At this point, at last point, they were essentially using none of them. And the story, I guess you could say, was progressing in a certain way. And it was like, the fuck are we doing here? It was the definition of spinning its wheels. And I couldn't work out why. And then something happened, there was a character got injured, and it was like, oh no, how could this have possibly happened? So you're like, oh right, okay, this is going to amp stuff up, which it did, kind of. This element has been used to bring like one of these bad guys to the forefront. Oh my god, they were the secret bad guy all along. Oh, okay. So that's now a thing. Okay, cool. I've written down on my notes like, oh, it's finally getting going. If in fact I have watched 6 episodes, now I'm gonna have to check. Let me have a little look. Go into here. Oh, that was something that I fancied watching. No, it's gone. Oh, there's a film there I fancied watching. Oh, how do I get into? Is it this? Right, here we go. I'm doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it. Here we go. Press this one. I bought some films for the children, but that's not... Right, okay. Season 2. Episode... Oh, my days. You know when you're like, of course, resume Season 2. Episode 8. Shit the bed, bro. That's so much worse than I thought it was. That's... Oh, dude. That means that there's... Like, I'm on episode 8. I've got 9 and 10 after this. Now, don't get me wrong. If there is no intention of wrapping any of this stuff up and carrying it over into Series 3 and making it a bit more of a long-term, long-running thing... I can probably work with that. What I would then go on to say is that basically means that Series 2 was a complete waste of time to some degree. But, I didn't realise it was it was episode 8. Ugh. Shit, man. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you don't like this series? I absolutely do. I really do. I really like the characters they've got are great. They've got a new character in Series 2 who's like just this giant human being. But he's a good character. I like him. I don't want to be that guy, but the bad guys are like, you know, there's so much meat on the bone. Cool bad guys. Just twiddling their thumbs. Let's see where it goes, shall we? I will be jumping on the treadmill in 3 and a bit hours. And I'll be watching what I imagine is the best part of all of episode 8. So, I'll already be that bit further forward. Right, let's talk computer games. No movies. I've got a movie on my to watch list. This is how bad it is. I bought it. No, not digitally, because you couldn't buy it digitally. Don't get me started. I bought a physical copy of this film, which has then sat on my TV unit for, it could be months, it's definitely weeks. And now it's available to watch on Prime. Sons of bitches. So, knowing that, having all that knowledge, have I watched it? No sirree, Bob. So, no movies at the moment, even though I've got a list as long as me, like little finger, because it's like 3 films. Anyway, computer games. This could be why I've watched no films, because my list of computer games is extensive. Let's talk about the first one. I think I mentioned this last week. I bought a game that I saw a VR guy that I follow on YouTube talking about, and he was saying, I honestly don't know why this game doesn't have more people talking about it. And that game is The Living Remains. I played it. I went, oh, it's low budget. Arizona Sunshine. Zombies, shooting, shot. I went away because I played something else, which I was less enamored with. So I went back. And when I went back, I was like, actually, although it's low budget Arizona Sunshine in some ways, it's high budget ideas. Like, this game has got stuff in it that I've never seen before in other VR games. There's like a small aspect of like a puzzle solving element where you're like, that's pretty cool. Like, to have to like solve a puzzle in a certain way, like that sort of thing. So it was good. Continued playing the game and ultimately ended up finishing it. And towards the end of the game, there was a sign that came up on the main menu before you go into the game. I was like, hope you're enjoying the game. It's people like you that make it possible for us to make this game. Blah, 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 blah. We are a team of 2 people. So, we're really grateful for all the help and support that we get to make this game. I'm like, 2 people made this game. Honestly, that kicks it up a notch. So you go back in and you play it and you're like, I just spent the rest of my time going, how did 2 people make this game? Now, bearing in mind, one of my more recent favourite game/franchise, because there's actually 2 of them, and we're just about to get a DLC for one of them, was made by one person, and it is fantastic. I would put it toe to toe with Half-Life Alyx, and in some ways I honestly think it would beat Half-Life Alyx. So that game was made by one person. So it's possible, but how? Honestly, when I play these games, all I can ever think is I would love to be able to get in touch with these people and be like, hey, I imagine you're very busy, but if you ever fancied sitting down and doing a podcast, I just want to pick your brains on how something like this is possible. Where do you even start with something like this? Honestly, to me, mind-blowing. Because I finished The Living Remains, I'd reminded myself at some point that I'd downloaded a free mod for, weirdly enough, Half-Life Alyx, which turns it into BioShock. Now, I used to love BioShock. Obviously, later versions of BioShock were not great, but BioShock 1 and 2 were just phenomenal for their time. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play the Bioshock mods, see what that's like. Not going to lie, didn't realise that a Bioshock mod for Half-Life Alyx sends you to Rapture, which is cool, but it's weird because you're still Alyx and you're still fighting the Combine enemies from Half-Life Alyx. So it was a bit like, oh, that's not what I was expecting, but okay. The issue I had at the time was my Quest headset was installing a game. And I think because of that, it was ever so slightly out of sync with the computer. So everything was super grainy. It looked like ass. Unplayable, almost. I honestly tried my best. I was like, I think I'm going to have to come back to this. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, what game were you installing? Well, I saw a little post about a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. And that post had my favourite gaming words attached. And those words were New Game Plus. Apparently, Behemoth has had a massive update, visual and otherwise update. And one of the updates it's had is, that's right, New Game Plus. And I was like, do you know something? I was thinking the other day, you know a game I'd really like to play again? Behemoth. And you know what? A game like that is absolutely crying out for a New Game Plus. Well, here we are. I have played Behemoth for the last few days. Like I say, Behemoth was the game I was playing last night where I was like, I think I need to turn this off because I don't feel like I'm present enough. So I turned it off. But I have taken out the first Behemoth, Shacklehide. And I'm working towards taking out the Bat Behemoth. It's been a mixed bag. I'm not going to lie. It's been a mixed bag. New Game Plus, great. Keep all your upgrades, great. Means when you're doing certain bits of the game and where you got upgrades previously, you just don't get them, which obviously makes sense. You've already got them. But it's a bit weird going through the whole thing in like the room where you get the upgrade and you're solving all the puzzles to open the box to get nothing because you've already got it. One of the rooms, in hindsight, I was like, technically I didn't need to solve the puzzle. I could have just left the room because I had the item I needed. So there was that. What's been nice is trying to just finish off getting the upgrades. The problem is the upgrades, because they're later upgrades in the game, they are super expensive. What has been nice has been when I played the game the first time, I didn't really do a massive amount of exploration. If I felt like there was a point in the game where it was going to take me away from the main mission, I kind of leant away from it. I did do some exploring and I did unlock, bits and bobs here and there, but there were times when I was like, I feel like this is taking me away from the direction I'm supposed to be going, so I'm going to leave this. So, playing it this time, it's given me the opportunity to do those bits and go to those places, and that's been fun. I've enjoyed it. On the flip side, I have found a bit of a downside. Outside of the behemoths, there's a lot of sort of wander around. Like there's some puzzles and things to do, mostly just to like pick up things for upgrades and stuff like that. The rest of the time, you're fighting bog standard enemies, just standard run of the mill enemies. Every now and then you get like a mini boss, but if it's not like 100-foot tall monster, you're a bit like meh. Standard enemies are a bit like, you get so far and they're a little bit in that camp of what's the point? It's a bit like, I've got this sword. If I throw it at you in just the right way, it's probably gonna kill you in one hit. So let's do that. And then, you start like experimenting with things, trying to find new ways of doing things, like new ways of taking people out. And then you're a bit like, yeah. And it's not boring, but like a few games I've played recently, I'm a bit like, I wonder if I put the difficulty level up, what my gaming experience will be. So yeah. I mean, let's face it, I'm going to keep playing it. I do want to go back to Into the Radius 2 because the beta has had an update, which is strange. My question is, does that mean I can play it now? Because I tried it again recently and fucking hell, it's absolutely no way of playing that game. At that point in time, I was like, oh, okay, it's still not fixed. So, yeah, at some point, I will get around to that. As with animated TV series I've watched recently, I picked up the Devil May Cry HD collection, which is Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3. I think this might be the third time I've bought this collection. I definitely own it on the PlayStation. I think I currently own it on the PlayStation 4, maybe. Started playing it and was like, oh, man, Devil May Cry was such a banger of a game. Something I found out recently, and I can't stop telling people, so I'm going to tell you guys, is Devil May Cry was originally a Resident Evil game, where Capcom were like, it's not quite Resident Evil. So no to Resident Evil. However, it's fantastic, so turn it into its own game. Going back and playing it again, with that knowledge, you're like, it's so a Resident Evil game. It's such a Resident Evil game. It's like, wow. One thing I'll say is this. I went to buy it about 3 times previously on Steam. Every time, it's like, oh, this game's unsupported. So I recently Googled it, and it was like, it's unsupported, but there is a fix, and if that fix doesn't work, you can try this one. And if that one doesn't work, there's this, and so on and so forth. So I went, it sounds like there's probably a fix for this now. Let's give it a try. I bought it, I downloaded it, installed it, etc. Put it on, and it worked fine. Yes, what people say is the cutscenes don't work. I've played the original Devil May Cry about 50 times at this point in time, so I'm like, I probably don't need the cutscenes. And it's only the what they're referring to as rendered cutscenes. The other cutscenes work fine. So I'm a bit like, I think I'll survive. I did also pick up Mortal Kombat 11 in a bundle. Now, I am not a fighting guy. I think my fighting days probably ended round about Street Fighter 2. But recently, I've had a bit of a hankering for a fighting game, and I don't know why. Mortal Kombat 11 came up as a bundle. There was that, a couple of DLCs. Injustice 2 with a couple of DLCs, and it was like £8. I'm like, you know something? I've been feeling that kind of itch, for want of a better way of putting it. So, yeah, I'll give you £8 for that. Didn't take into account that it was 112 gig for Mortal Kombat 11. That took some negotiating. As it is, I'm playing through the story mode, which a little bit of a double-edged sword. The reason is often in games like this, the people that have made it love to tell a story. They've got a great story and they want to tell you every minute detail. So the cutscenes are 10 times longer than any of the fights you might do. Also, when I play a fighting game, I do love a one round. I'm a one round kind of guy. So far, can't find a way to change the fact that the fights are 2 rounds across the board. So there's that. It's been alright so far. I've done some of the tutorial stuff just to make sure that I know which button is punch and which one's kick. I am playing it on easy. I think I'm playing it on very easy because I'm an old man. I ain't got the dexterity for a faking fighting game. So, yeah. It's fine. Traditionally, I've not been the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. I have an idea of what it is and stuff, but it's not something that I would go out of my way to play, says the man who paid £8 to buy a Mortal Kombat bundle. But honestly, so far it's fine. I think I played for like half an hour last night because, it took nearly the entire day to install it. Yeah. Finally, I've had a couple of plays of Rise of Ronin. Something that surprised me somewhat is I've gone to a new area. So that's the 3rd area for this game. I don't know how to say this and make it sound good. I honestly thought I was probably getting to the back end of this game. Apparently not. I mean, I think we all know and understand. A new area means like new opportunities, new exploration, new missions, new side missions, new collections, new X, Y, Z. If they're doing that at this point in the game, I'm a bit like, so what? It's still enjoyable. I'm still enjoying playing it. It's still challenging in places. It's still there's still a lot of upgrades for me to get. But I'm very much like, I honestly thought this would have been done by now. But not in a bad way. Just saying. So yeah. Stay tuned to see how I get on with all of those games, or if I just stop playing them all like I usually do with other games. Anyway, that is that. That is the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. So there we go. What do you think to that? Another one done. Another one gone. I promise at some point I'm going to start talking about other stuff. But obviously not today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Before you leave us, do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. And that way you can get in touch with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm going to say goodbye. And I'll see you then.
You've just listened to another episode of Cookie Cast. Thanks for listening.